for the Maryland Terrapins. She leads Maryland in scoring just under 19 points a game, which is 4th best in Big Ten conference play.
And China Cornwell of Rutgers could have a big game today with Maryland not really having a big inside presence.
Absolutely. She is leading the Big Ten in offensive rebounds with just under 4 per game, but she has 5 double-doubles on the season, so she's looking to go to work in the paint.
Diamond Miller playing in her home state this season, 4th in the Big Ten in points per game, actually tied for 1st in blocks per game, and it feels like she is back to that player that she was 2 seasons ago before last year was interrupted by injury.
That's right, Sloan, and Brenda Fries told us before the game that she trusts her teammates more this year. She is a leader as a senior, and it's really coming up big for Maryland.
They go up against a Rutgers team that we might see quite a bit of zone against. They have only 8 players, but Abby Myers drains a 3 to start things right off.
Well, it was a 2-3 zone by Rutgers, and then Maryland falls back into their 1-2-2 3-quarter court press, which they have really instituted this season because they are undersized. They want to scramble. They want to take some time off the shot clock and squeeze their opponents in the half court.
Well, Brenda Fries coming off a win number 600 a couple games ago, thanks to Cheyenne Sellers' buzzer beater against Purdue.
I've got a lot of those this year.
They have a lot of excitement. Diamond Miller, of course, the other one against number 7 Notre Dame. Their first win ever against UConn.
That was a fantastic win, but Maryland, they have 3 wins over ranked teams, but 5 on Power 5 teams, and I think they've just really come into their own. Brenda Fries said the chemistry on the offensive end is just now coming to form. She likes what they look like on the defensive side, though, and sometimes the defense comes before the offense in terms of chemistry and talent.
Rutgers turns it over. They are one of the poorest teams in the nation when it comes to the frequency of their turnovers, and Cheyenne Sellers can't make them pay that time. Battling for her own offensive rebound, and will be a jump ball, possession arrow the other way. Well, first season for Coquise Washington, very familiar to fans of Big Ten women's basketball. They're 0-3 in conference so far, but I love what she said, Christy, talking about their core values that they have daily meetings about.
And they do, and they meet with each other as a group. They go to dinners. She said she gets coffee with the players now. She knows what all of her players like from the coffee shop, and it's just really fun to see the chemistry that she's developing. And she said those core values that they meet every week on are very invaluable to the development of her program here at Rutgers.
Quick timeout called. Maryland operating at complete control right now, 6-0 the lead.
Well, Abby Myers is on the road, but the nets are the same. She is a fantastic 3-level scorer, this time from 3 for Maryland.
Abby Myers 2 for 2 from 3-point range for Maryland, clearly because of how she warms up. She can hit them anyhow, anywhere.
You have to love it. Hey, she's a 40% 3-point shooter. Look at her at half court. Over the head, boom, all net. It was not the first time she did it, because back on December 8th, watch this one. She's videoing too. Look at the phone in her hand. These kids today, listen, she knocked that thing through. She's 100% with the flip over the head from half court, and 40% on the season.
What's the farthest out, Christy, you think you could make it that way?
Well, I have tried feebly to shoot a logo 3, and no dice, actually, even using the backboard. Unsuccessful.
I believe in you, though.
Pretty bad. Yeah, I should try again. I gotta make sure I'm stretched out. The hammies ready.
Meanwhile, Rutgers 3 turnovers on 3 possessions, and there's another one. That's number 4. And Christy, this has been a big problem for the Scarlet Knights this season. They are coming off a game against Penn State. They shot 47%, 6 for 12 from 3, but they had 31 turnovers that led to 38 Lady Lion points.
And you can't hurt yourselves like that. And I know that Coquise Washington told us today. She said, hey, we'd rather have the dead ball turnovers than have live ball turnovers, especially against a team like Maryland who likes to push tempo with the pass up the floor and get easy buckets that way. She said, hey, if we have a hard time inbounding the ball, take the 5-second count. I'd rather do that than miss out on the possession.
Kayleen Schmeichel putting Rutgers on the board. She's been their leading scorer this season, one of the top scoring freshmen in the Big Ten, behind only Mara Braun of Minnesota. Rutgers badly needed that. Here's a long two drained by Cheyenne Sellers.
Well, going back to Schmeichel, I mean, she has, coming into this game, made 26 threes to lead Rutgers in that regard. In that last triple, they need more of that from her. She averages just under 16 points per game, and just a baby, a freshman.
Carter was in trouble. Awa Sidibe gets it over the timeline. An open look in the corner. That does not fall for Cassandra Brown. They were looking to go back-to-back, and Diamond Miller skips over into the front court all the way to the rim.
That's what makes Diamond Miller so dangerous. She's so lanky and explosive. She gets herself to the rim. Two defenders were on her, but she extended beyond both of them.
She just glided over the entire court. That will be a turnover. 10-second violation.
Look at the fierceness of this decision by Diamond Miller. She's surveying. Oh, she finds a crease, a sliver of light. Defenders come. That second line of defense is there. Doesn't matter. Look at her arms extending beyond.
She likes going left too, doesn't she?
Yeah, hey, she can go both ways, but she found that opportunity and took it full force. And you love to see that deliberate decision by the senior.
Pick and roll, a turnover between Myers and Massonis. They high five before going back on that miscommunication. A turnover for the Terrapins.
And keeping up with their 1-2-2, and you can see the players in the back, they're kind of matched up because Rutgers is trying to extend that press, trying to get them some opportunities to get the ball to the middle of the floor.
Kai Carter leaves everything short, so back to Maryland. And you can see the disruption they're already having, the length that they have in the beginning of that press.
I asked Coquise Washington about that this morning, and they just have to utilize ball fakes. She said they don't really have a point guard, a true point guard for Rutgers, so they have to do it by committee. But what that means is you have to make extra sure against a team like Maryland, who's going to be long and lanky in those passing lanes along the perimeter. Fake a pass to make a pass and get that ball where you want it to go.
The pick and roll, Massonis goes up to get it, and she finishes on the left side too.
What a fantastic connection between Sellers and Massonis on that one. And there's the trap once again. They can make these baskets and then apply this pressure. Maryland will be better served for it.
And a traveling violation will be the 6th turnover for the Scarlet Knights.
Well, Brenda Fries calls Faith Massonis the mom of the team. She is just all about togetherness and fierceness. And coming after that ACL injury that she suffered, missed half of the season last year, but she has really made a strong comeback physically to be back on the floor and earn a starting position for Maryland this year.
And it's right around the 1-year anniversary of making her return too. She was praised by Fries for the progress she has made. Here is Sellers, beautiful finish on the opposite side underneath. An 8-0 run for the Terps.
Well, they've done it with their defensive pressure. Look at the rotations right on time.
China Cornwell using her power. She scores inside. That's what Rutgers needs.
Well, they need to put that ball in there to her. Look at Diamond Miller trying to get fancy.
Massonis going inside. Myers all by herself.
Miscue defensively by Rutgers. And you can see Coquise Washington shaking her head on that one and bring someone in off the bench to see if they can get that executed a little bit better.
That is a high percentage shot to just give up to one of the top teams in the Big Ten. Going all the way. A good finish. Kai Carter to the rim. Back-to-back buckets in the paint for the Scarlet Knights.
Yeah, the 6-foot senior is very bouncy. Got off the floor quickly there. Faith Massonis couldn't contest it.
Massonis skip pass. A good look for Miller. Lots of arc on that short shot, but left short. And an offensive rebound for Myers. Massonis knew exactly where that three-point line was. Miller trying to clean up the boards, and multiple chances don't go for the Terrapins.
How about Diamond Miller splitting the double team there to free herself, but just couldn't get that shot to drop. And Cheyenne Sellers, the spectacular sophomore for Maryland. Watch her come off of that back screen and then take it on the reverse. She is just so quick in terms of her decision making. Just a smart play to avoid that contact and take it on the other side.
all-freshman team last year, Big Ten Sixth Player of the Year, and it's now her offense that's starting to catch up with what was so advanced on the defensive side.
Brenda Fries told us that today. She said last year she was our defensive juggernaut player, put her on the toughest offensive player for our opponents. But this year, her offense has really come along. 12 of Maryland's 14 games she scored in double figures, including 9 consecutive games in double figures for the Terps. Here's some Iverson action here by Maryland.
Elisa Pinzan into the game. Lavender Briggs as well. And also Brene Alexander, and she will travel.
Well, Maryland likes to use that Iverson action. When I say that, you have the 2 post players at the elbows, and then the guards kind of shift positions almost in a circular fashion, but then they can run a lot of options off of that. They can get into pick and rolls. They can slip a post down the lane. There are a lot of different actions that they can utilize because of the great spacing that provides.
One dribble pull-up, not there for Antonia Bates. Do you feel like this offense has adapted to not having a true big as Myers banks it in, a difficult shot falling away?
Hey, listen, how about that shot? The transfer from Princeton is over 1,000 points for her career, one of 3 Maryland players to have over 1,000 points under their name. But going back to your question, I don't think it truly impacts what they want to do. I think they understand that they need to organize in the quarter court, and Coquise Washington said, hey, I played point guard. I mean, she played in the WNBA for 6 seasons as well as a point guard. And so when all the players are out of position, maybe moving up or down a position, it's uncomfortable but not undoable.
Unselfish basketball by Maryland after that turnover. Yet another steal by Diamond Miller. She gets it back in traffic. And it will be an offensive foul. Crowded spacing there for the Terrapins. Maybe some extra words said as well.
A little extracurricular there. Looked like Diamond Miller ended up pile there. We're gonna take a look at what the call was right there. She just kind of, she was out of control right there. But I think I thought she was taking a little too long to get up off of her, I think, and tried to help her with that.
Well, looks like the officiating crew maybe having a discussion about that. Maryland leading 18-7. Here's another look at the play that just happened.
Well, Diamond was trying to get up. It wasn't, she was trying to get up, but at the same time, it was taking a little long time. I don't know if I would have been comfortable. Yeah. They're going to take a look at it. We'll see what they say about it, but it didn't look like a non-basketball play. I mean, she has to get herself up off the ground.
And it looked like she was looking to see where the ball was going.
She was trying to see what was happening, what the call was. The call was made behind her. But at the same time, I mean, I'd take a little time to get up off the ground. You have to give yourself a minute. But she was on her leg, too, though, so maybe it was just a little extra.
Maybe a little chippiness for Rutgers, too, facing an early deficit here and struggling. They have 8 turnovers so far in this first quarter.
And that pressure from Maryland, and they were very successful with their pressure against Minnesota, turned them over, and they want to utilize that level of defensive firepower in the 3-quarter court setting in their 1-2-2, and they've been able to really disrupt Rutgers' rhythm, trying to get the ball down the floor.
You have Penn State, who you have Leilani Kapanis and McKenna Marisa, who are so disruptive defensively. You go against this team. The only other team I can think of is Ohio State that can really frustrate teams, and you're facing at least 2 of the 3 back-to-back.
Yeah, number 3, Ohio State, remains undefeated. Kevin McGuff and his squad, they have really inserted some defensive firepower in their program the last 2 seasons with their full-court press.
Welcome to the Miller family.
It's Miller
here
time
at Jersey Mike's. I love those shirts so much. Lance and Drianna are here along with other members of her family.
Oh, you love it. Love to see that.
I think it's, and they had dinner as a team together. The entire traveling party hosted by the Millers. She's from Somerset, New Jersey, just outside New York City. The whole crew showing her.
How about that? We need shots of, hey, go on social media and look at the food that was there, you guys, because, oh my gosh, I have to ask the Millers if they brought some plates outside when we leave here and take a plate when I go home, because, oh man. But it must be great to have that kind of connection with the families when you travel, and you get to be inside of a home instead of a hotel ballroom eating, you know,
or a chain restaurant, something like that. But I think it's especially important for Diamond coming back here too, because she was able to reset here in her home state over the spring and last summer, coming off a frustrating season where she missed time with injury, was second team All Big Ten, but still wasn't that same first team self.
Right, and I mean, even accomplishing being on the second team after missing almost half the season, if you add up all of the games together, I mean, it was amazing what she was able to do and not be 100% healthy with that. But Diamond Miller, the senior now, has really been a phenomenal leader, not just statistically.
Well, it is going to be a foul on both sides for both Maryland and Rutgers against Diamond Miller and Awa Sidibe, so the two that were tied up there.
And I think that's fair. I mean, I think if you did it one way or the other, it would have been an issue, but I think the contact was there from Diamond, and Sidibe did push and extend with contact to Miller, pushing her off.
Cheyenne Sellers now orchestrating this offense for the Terrapins. The latest poll released today, number 13 in the nation. 3 ranked wins this season, just 1 loss to South Carolina. Draining the 3, Lavender Briggs. She's coming off a season-high 14 points. Didn't want to see her do more of that.
Absolutely. Trying to get into a rhythm. I mean, she was one of the top guards in the SEC. We're talking about second-team member of that team, and over 1,000 points in her career from Florida.
Battle for the loose ball. Great defense by the Terrapins and Cheyenne Sellers as Faith Nasonis checks in.
Just look at the pressure that Maryland is able to apply with their 1-2-2 press. They just bring that run-jump mentality to you, put it on the floor, and you're going to be drawn to the sideline and get you in that coffin corner and have you cough it up.
It's a 10-second violation on the other side. Abby Myers, her 3rd 3 today, already above double figures.
Her release point and the speed of her release is tough to guard, and you've got to find her early and get that shot pocket rhythm off.
Beautiful, strong take. Michael lays it in. Sona swings it across. Myers feeling it. Too strong that time, but it'll stay here with the Terps.
Skip passes against the zone will help you sometimes.
Cheyenne Sellers looking for another long-range 2. Myers chasing down that loose ball, and yet another opportunity for Maryland. Gia Cook gonna reset things here offensively. 10 seconds on the shot clock. She just puts her head down, explodes to the rim. Had a little too much on it though.
Yeah, Gigi Cook, she is a freshman out of Maryland, Bishop McNamara High School. She has some speed to her now. She can turn those wheels over. And Brenda Fries, I know early on in the season at Media Day and everything, she was saying, hey, she plays at a high pace of speed. We just need her to utilize it at the right time.
Sidibe trying to get free, but it is tough against the Terps. The 3 at the buzzer falls way short, and the Terps are going to be on the run. Cook, unstopped as she barrels in, but no foul called there.
I thought she drew some contact there, but that's that speed again by Cook.
Forced out of bounds. The Maryland bench fired up about that effort to get back on the fast break.
Absolutely. I love to see when teams cheer on defensive effort. I mean, and ones and all that is fun too, but, you know, it means something to you.
It's now 10 turnovers for Rutgers in this first quarter. Trailing 24-9. Final 30 seconds of the first quarter here in Piscataway. About 2-second difference shot in game clock.
And Rutgers sticking with their zone. They're bumping, even with the shot clock and the game clock running down.
It sometimes feels like a necessity when you only have 3 players on the bench to go to.
Right.
After pointer on the way for Alexander, does not fall. One last chance opportunity. Going back door, Alexander in the lane. Can't get it off glass. And after the first 10 minutes, 24-9, Maryland all over the Scarlet Knights. We'll go to the second quarter here in Piscataway. Number 13 with the lead.
Can you say something nice about your rival, Rutgers?
One of my favorite people in the conference. I think the big thing about Maryland and Rutgers is they've had some classic, epic matchups, and looking forward to creating some more memorable games in the future.
Our coaches here this afternoon, great things to say about each other. And Christy, I think so many coaches were excited to see Coquise back in the Big Ten.
Absolutely. I mean, nothing but professionalism, nothing but respect. You have to love that throughout the Big Ten Conference. I mean, we haven't even gotten to the thick of things yet, Sloan, and with Illinois beating Iowa yesterday, I mean, Indiana going down. I mean, it is going to be so much fun as the season continues to progress, but nothing but respect for one another with 5 teams in the top 25 right now.
That's what I like about the type of media days, too. And you can ask all those questions as opposed to when you are in the thick of things.
Right.
Masonis cross-court pass. Great ball movement by the Terrapins. It's going to open up Pinzan, and she knocks down the 3. The 5th already for the Terrapins.
Well, they've done a good job. They're not really over-penetrating against that zone. They're moving the ball with a pass and shifting and moving that zone by Rutgers.
Diamond Miller almost sniping her. Another steal in this first half. Instead, a finish underneath by Cassandra Brown.
That's a birthday bucket. It's Cassandra Brown's birthday today, and they need more interior play. They need more buckets like that. We've seen the opportunities that they've had. They can't settle for those 3s because they're not falling for Rutgers early on here.
Lafayette underneath to Sidibe, but she's met by Miller awkwardly and can't put it away.
See how Maryland gets the ball reversed and then gets it to that third side. They're going to swing it.
Briggs for 3, trying to get in on the party. Masonis shuffling it off to Miller. The defense collapses. Unselfish play by the Terrapins. And Miller can't get that to go.
Cassandra Brown, it is her birthday today. Her teammates know it. They're going to give the extra pass. Nice bounce pass to Brown. Cassandra Day. They continue to feed her in there, though.
That's the advantage that Rutgers does have, where they do have those true post players. Right now, China Cornwell has been on the bench. And Cassandra Brown filling that role. You can even just see the size difference she has against Maryland. Underneath, Carter rises. A difficult shot, even close in. Doesn't go.
You can see some zone there by Maryland will match up. And they're just bumping off and rotating, not allowing that baseline drive.
Masonis faces up, meets no challenge, and drains it.
The confidence and the wherewithal of Faith Masonis, another senior, captain. She and Diamond Miller, along with Brene Alexander, are the 3 captains for the Terps.
And she's been so key, especially when it comes to integrating so many new players.
Absolutely. And when you talk about Faith Masonis, we had a chance to talk to Brenda Fries about how her sitting out developed her into being the leader that she is. And Brenda said, hey, she's always had the leadership qualities, but I think it's more fine-tuned now because she had to sit and really discuss more things.
Rutgers with the steal, and then Schmeichel finishing underneath. She can really ignite this offense.
Absolutely. She is so quick with her decision-making as well.
Schmeichel in this one up to 7 points. That's a team high. Game high score is still Abby Myers, who has 3 threes in this game as she weaves through, floats it up, and can't get her own board.
Abby Myers, one of the better 3-level scorers in the conference. Coming over from Princeton, and Had a fantastic career there. Ivy League Player of the Year. Katie Benson was also another Ivy League star that played at Maryland as a grad transfer.
The spin and won the birthday girl. Going for the three-point play.
I told you, get the girl the ball for some more birthday buckets. Rutgers is doing just that. A little spin cycle, pivot, split the defense that's coming from the help side up the basket line. Nice strong footwork and finish for Rutgers.
Actually completes the three-point play to make it 29-16 Maryland. But Rutgers has been able to find success scoring in the paint. They are last in the conference in three-point range. That's not their game, but scoring in the paint is.
Absolutely. That's why I said, hey, you cannot settle for those threes when your success and higher percentage shots are coming inside. So we'll see if Rutgers tries to be more intentional with getting that ball down there to Brown and have her finish. Also to Cornwell and have her finish. But for Maryland, they don't really have the typical size that they've had in the past in the paint, right? And then you're looking at Rutgers, and they don't really have a true point guard. So it's almost like a flip-flop in terms of positioning.
Awa Sidibe stepped off the court. It looks like she's going to be taped up, possibly with some blood on her jersey. So she's going to swap another one on. And it looks like she's now number 1 from number 11.
Yeah,
Good thing you have those close by.
Yeah, not a deep bench, so glad they didn't have to go back in the storage and get the jerseys. They only have 8, Sloan, and they've got to rotate them in and out quickly, and so they waited for her on that one.
Not just 8 healthy players today.
No,
it's 8
total
players on the roster.
Yeah, total. That's it. You have to be very creative, but you also have to be disciplined. And I know I've been on teams where we've had 8 players, and it was not easy. But it helps you focus because you know that your team needs for you to stay disciplined so you don't have to go deep into that bench.
Yeah, it certainly means staying out of foul trouble.
Absolutely. You have to be smart.
Quick closeout by Sidibe. Myers gets it away. Masonas with power up and in.
How about the utilization of body control by Faith Masonas on that one? She knew that she had some defenders shadowing her from behind.
Abby Myers, the steal. It's a 3-on-1. Looking for the alley-oop. But it is not there for Bree McDaniel, who falls out of bounds.
Make the simple play. Make the simple play. It would have been cute. If you got the alley-oop, it would have been cute. With a tip in or something like that. But make the single. You don't need a home run right there. Just complete the play.
Both teams even, by the way, in this quarter. 7 points apiece. Michael, being guarded by Masonas, thinks that she has the speed. Almost a three-point play opportunity, but she'll shoot 2.
I like Michael's speed and decision-making as only a freshman. She has the confidence of an upper-class player. And Coquise Washington said, hey, they're going to go from freshmen to juniors real quick at the middle of this season. And usually you hear that quote as being, hey, they're going to be sophomores pretty soon here. But no, she wants them to go ahead and advance to juniors.
For the biggest Big Ten experience, there's no plus like home. The Big Ten Plus app powered by Big Ten Network. Download and subscribe now. On Saturday, you can see the Terps in action against Michigan State. And you made mention of this, but a sneaky Spartans team that gave Indiana its first loss of the season last week.
Susie Merchant and her squad. Sneaky is a good word because no one's talking about Michigan State right now except Michigan State, who upset Indiana, and that's what needs to happen. That's why this conference is so tough. Night in and night out, you better bring your A game or teams will make you pay. Michigan State is on the rise for sure.
Briggs exploding to the rim. It seemed like their spacing was out of sorts, but results in an easy bucket.
Well, they spread out the defense against that zone, making them shift and move, and that creates creases to attack with the drive. They've done a good job of getting reversals and getting to that second and third side, but when that happens, you can attack from reversals.
Abby Streeter, a long three she drains, and they'll take offense from everyone.
We were talking about logo-esque threes earlier. That was almost there.
Quick pass in the corner. It is Sellers, answers right back for three.
The extra passes against the zone will always benefit you because you're attacking the closeout without a drive. You're attacking the closeout with an extra pass, which is harder to guard.
Streeter on the floor. 42% shooter last season from three, but a long-range two drops in for Sidibe.
Sidibe trying to stay consistent offensively. Just under 11 points for her per game, 6 boards. So active producer of offense for Rutgers.
Sonas quickly kicks it out. Good closeout by Schmeichel. They're getting out to the three-point line in this zone. Cornwell back in and drained along the baseline. Bree McDaniel, the future livestock veterinarian, knocking it down. Did you know when you were at Maryland how good the agriculture program was there?
Actually, yes, because it was right down the hill. There was like the farming area. So walking to class, I knew about it. That's all I'm going to say.
Kayleen Schmeichel knocks down the three. Rutgers not going away yet. A timeout called by the Terrapins.
Abby Streeter, I don't know what street she was on, but it was a long way away because she nailed that triple all net for Rutgers. Oh, look at the distance between those toes and that line.
Rutgers has hit 5 of their last 5 shots from the field. They're within 38 to 26. Much improved in this second quarter, Christy, especially the turnovers.
It's not a mystery. You take care of the basketball. That's what Coach Washington said was a must-do against this Maryland team. And you saw when they didn't take care of the ball, how that was an onslaught of offensive opportunities in the open court for Maryland. And now that they've taken care of the ball, they're getting right back into the game.
The third jersey up today for Awa Sidibe. She shed her first one, normally number 11, due to blood on her jersey. Picked up Washington's.
That's Coquese's. That's Coquese's jersey, isn't it? Is it? I don't know. She had the 11.
That's where she started.
Yeah. The 11. But then, hey, I think she had... Oh, she's doing... Wait, number 4. Sloan, look. Oh, I thought that was a replay, but no, it's live time. It's another one. It's another one.
I'm running out of room to update her number on my sheet.
Coquese is like, let her wear the one that says Washington on it.
We need her to be a point guard like I was.
They need a true point guard, she said. Coquese was a magnificent point guard. Let's see what they're going with here. Is it? This is the Washington one.
It is the Washington one. I've lost count. Is that 5? No, but this is the same one, so I think it's technically 4.
I like it. She's repping her coach right there.
She's gonna channel some Coquese Washington.
She has to. She has to represent. You can't put on coach's name on the back of your shirt and not go out and represent.
Much improved second quarter. They were outscored, Rutgers was, by Maryland after the first 10 minutes, 24-9. Myers fouled on the mid-range 2 by Sidibe.
Is that Washington's first foul? Sorry, Sloan. I'm going to leave it alone.
Don't put it on the coach.
Once I get the giggles, man, that's a wrap, pretty much. But, yeah, she can't do that. She can't do that.
It sends Abby Myers to the free throw line. 9 of 13 coming in. Maryland shooting 47%. It's shocking to see Rutgers 59% from the floor. They just have half the shot attempts, fewer opportunities.
And now some zone again from Maryland. They're 2-3, but they're bumping. You see Faith Masonis communicating in that back line. That weak side is where you can see the entire floor. Because most offenses come on the right side, but diagonally across is where you can really see what's happening.
Sidibe floated up and in with 5 seconds left. She was patient and made the right play.
And attacked right down the middle of the paint against the zone. And people think, okay, you have to shoot threes to break a zone or get a team out of a zone. No, you drive down the middle of that paint, and that'll get you out of that zone.
Taken by Schmeichel. And finishes on the other side. Rutgers starting to roll here. It's a 10-point game.
Taking care of the ball. Playing staunch defense. Getting in the passing lanes and getting easy offense on the other side has proven to be beneficial for Rutgers right now.
They are outscoring Maryland in this second quarter, 21-16. Taken away by Cornwell. She had excellent position there in the post.
Cornwell playing on the high side. Post defense. Sidibe was right there waiting anyway on the lob opportunity that Maryland was trying to create.
Cheyenne Sellers off the turnover, almost loses it, just has to throw it up, and it goes back to the Scarlet Knights, who can make this single-digit deficit.
Rutgers defense has been ravenous. Hands in the passing lane, get deflections and push it the other way. That's how you can get back into this game. Dial it up on the defensive end. It's not a mystery. Take care of the basketball, dial it up on defense, get live ball stops.
They have been disciplined in this quarter, and they've been aggressive too, as Carter will shoot two.
Well, they're attacking Maryland's zone, getting right down into that restricted area, right in front of the rim. Take a look. Look at that elbow. That's what you want to attack against the zone. Attack those elbows, get down there, collapse the defense. Great job by Rutgers right now, playing with a sense of purpose and intentionality.
If you're a fan of Big Ten women's hoops, there's an Instagram account dedicated to you, at B1GWBB. Follow for the best highlights, videos, and images from the court straight to your feed. Join the community and follow at B1GWBB on Instagram right now. Schmeichel can't knock down the three, chases down her own long rebound, a difficult shot, and taken by Cheyenne Sellers.
Well, Rutgers had gotten the rebound off the free throw. On the offensive side, that kick out for the three could have made a world of difference to close out this first half, but the momentum is definitely in favor of Rutgers right now for sure.
Within 9, Briggs that clings off back iron, and Schmeichel pushing it again for the Scarlet Knights. Just her second start this season. She had come off the bench even as a leading scorer the first time their most recent game against New Orleans before the Christmas break. Not showing any signs that it's affected her by any means. She's got a team-high 14 points already. She barrels to the rim for two.
Maryland switched on those ball screens. And the drive was there once again. Schmeichel now with 16, 6 of 9 from the floor.
It's a 3-possession game right now, 7 points.
Maryland in their horn set against this zone.
Meyer trying to silence this crowd at the halftime buzzer. Rutgers closed the half on a 10-2 run to trail by 7.
Rutgers showing some heart here at home. Maryland needing to shore up their paint defense and containing that area that Rutgers has committed to attack.
Halftime here in Piscataway, 40-33, Maryland on top. After the break, we'll go behind the scenes with the Scarlets.
Coaches and role models, mentors for over 5 decades for both of them. Both Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame inductees. The highest level of respect, the Mount Rushmore of women's basketball. Those two are definitely on it. But here at Rutgers, you cannot speak Rutgers women's basketball without speaking their names.
Pillars of the game, not just this university, as you said, of the sport of basketball. Fantastic to see this university keeping that legacy from generations ago alive with Teresa Grentz. And I like talking to Coquise Washington earlier this season where she said, I don't get upset by any means when people ask me about taking over for C. Vivian Stringer. I want to talk about her. I fangirl over her, and she is an idol in this sport.
Absolutely, and it's just the reverence and the respect you heard from Coquise Washington to Brenda Fries, and Brenda Fries reciprocating that back to Coquise Washington. That's what the game of basketball and the game of life is all about.
Kayleen Schmeichel on the other side, up to 18 points, 7 of 10 shooting, and it's a 5-point game. Maryland has led for much of this game, as many as 18. And now within 5, a laser underneath into Sellers, and she'll go to the free throw line.
I'm not even sure how Faith Masonis saw Cheyenne Sellers slicing along the baseline there to even receive that pass. But great awareness. Watch the awareness there and the execution of that awareness there. Those two always, they don't always go hand in hand. Sometimes you have the awareness without the execution. But Sellers is stepping up to the line, trying to get the second one to go here.
What would you expect to have seen in the locker room when you do let a Rutgers lead, or excuse me, a Rutgers deficit from 18 shrink to 7, and what you do when you come back on the floor?
Well, you have to do what got you the lead. You have to go back to what you were doing, which was playing forceful on the defensive end. Here, like, get some traps going. Again, another trap.
Timeout called by Coquise Washington as her team just gets it over in time. 41-35, Maryland with the lead. Start of the third quarter here at Piscataway. .35 is the Maryland lead, and Rutgers just got a timeout away, but there was some confusion about what happened.
Well, the play was going on. You see Coquise Washington in the left corner. She was on the court outside of the coach's box. As before the timeout was recognized, and Brenda Fries was like, she was on the court before it was whistled a timeout. She can't be on the floor like that. And we just had the whole kumbaya about the life lessons and the coaches. But hey, you gotta be careful, because the players don't know that that's going to happen either. You could get stepped on and roll an ankle or something like that. I mean, wouldn't want to see that.
Seeing a player almost make contact with their own coach is certainly unusual. Brown, long range 2 doesn't go. Cornwell can't get the putback. Difficult angle on the second try. Top it in the Big Ten in offensive rebounds per game. She's back in to start the third.
Yeah, just under 9 rebounds a game for Cornwell, and 3.9 of those come on the offensive glass. Best in the Big Ten in terms of attacking the offensive boards. You have to have those extra possessions.
Snaking along the baseline is Miller, but that won't fall. She's 1 for 8 with just 2 points, normally averaging over 18 per game, as Myers steps in for the charge.
Yeah, she has struggled, Diamond Miller has. And it's not for lack of taking good shots. It almost seems like she's forcing it, and she just gave Brenda Fries a high five there on the way back down the court. Some encouraging words, I'm sure, came along with that. Is to kind of be where your 10 toes are. We're on the next play. You can't think about the past shots that haven't gone in. What about the next ones? That's the mentality right now, and Brenda Fries is having a little conversation with her right now.
Awa Sidibe is being treated again on the sideline. She's already switched jerseys multiple times. Back in 11, by the way, we didn't provide that update coming back here from halftime. She's worn 4 and 5 and 1, and back in 11 because her original jersey got blood on it.
There we go. 2-2-1 now by Rutgers. And now they're looking to trap and rotate.
Coquise Washington says she feels like her team is in great shape, and even with a short bench of just 3 players, why not institute full court pressure?
Absolutely, and their zone has been moving on the pass, trying to get Maryland out of their offensive rhythm, and Sellers says no.
Long range 2 drops for Sellers. Of course, a big smile on her face as she comes up.
Yeah. Her dad, Brad Sellers, played for the Chicago Bulls as Rutgers turns it over again. He is her biggest fan. He's also a mayor in Ohio as well, but she is commanding her offensive weaponry on the floor for Maryland in only her sophomore season, Sloan, and a tremendous upside for the youngster.
Coach Fries praised her spirit, her personality, always keeping it light but highly competitive as well. Myers, who's in trouble, and she is fouled. Cheyenne Sellers, fantastic her freshman season, even better in this one. Look how she's doubled up her scoring and not even that many minutes per game.
Well, that's what you want to see. Usually you see players make a huge jump between their freshman and sophomore seasons because they know what the game expects from them, right? So they rise to those expectations, and Cheyenne Sellers no different there as Diamond Miller gets a bucket.
That's a Diamond Miller bucket right there, extending through the lane. Here's a steal and a 3-on-1 for the Terps. It is Myers draining the three. She's got 4 today and 18 points.
She's a different kind of scorer for Maryland. I mean, it's Katie Benson 2.0 when it comes to knocking in threes. 4 threes for Abby Myers today, and she is just consistently efficient. 40% coming in on the season from there. But she has been able to be a steady contributor for Maryland, especially in that game against Connecticut.
20 points in that one. Miller, another bucket underneath, and Maryland clicking once more like they were in the first, leading 50-35.
That's what I said. You got to get to what got you the initial lead, and it was bucket getting and getting the stops defensively. Maryland in the passing lanes, finding one another in a selfless manner. Abby Myers knocking in the three and feeling some passion about it. And she can also dime it off to Diamond Miller underneath for a deuce.
Women's basketball on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. About midway through the third quarter here in Piscataway, Maryland leading 50-35. Rutgers got within 5. The closest they've been since it was 6-0. Maryland answering with a 10-0 run. And you just saw the ranked teams in the Big Ten so far this season. And Christy, as a voter, you said it's been really difficult this season.
Well, I'm still shaking off the cobwebs from voting today because of all of the upsets in the last couple of days in women's basketball, but just amazing. I mean, you look at Illinois and Nebraska receiving votes. You saw Illinois defeating Iowa yesterday, but the Nebraska team beat Maryland last week. So, I can't wait for February to come in Big Ten conference play. It's going to be so fiercely competitive and no nights off. You better come to battle with your hard hat on and be ready to compete.
Diamond Miller makes the strip. It goes out of bounds, staying here with Rutgers, but Miller a couple buckets. She had 2 at halftime. She scored 2 baskets here in the second half.
We saw Brenda Freese trying to encourage Diamond Miller, not shooting the ball well. It's not what the game is all about. You can do other things. She has 4 steals in this game, trying to impact it in other ways.
Cheyenne Sellers going to be whistled as China Cornwell going to work in the paint. She's incredulous at that call. And Sellers, that is her 3rd. So she's going to be checking out.
See if Rutgers can try to get that ball back down inside. You see the post up in the paint with Cornwell trying to get in there.
Cornwell matched up with Myers, a guard, and was able to back her down and draw the foul.
There she should have. You see Coquise Washington. And Coquise may have been a point guard, but she knows how to post up as well. You see her demonstrating to Cornwell, splitting the defense there, drawing contact on Myers.
Cornwell has been so reliable and consistent for this Rutgers team. She's got 6 rebounds, now 3 points after the free throw. But Coach Washington said it's also that she has the biggest heart, truly cares about her teammates, and it's all genuine.
Right, and she also cares about her work ethic. Last season, Sloan, she was shooting in the 30 percentile area from the free throw line. This season, close to 70% from the line, and Coquise Washington said that's the work that she has put in. She doesn't want to let her team down by missing those free throws, so she has put in the work to improve that statistic.
Pick and roll defense by the Scarlet Knights. Myers takes it all the way, and Cornwell corrals the rebound. Sidibe almost loses it, and she does indeed travel. Couldn't quite stop on a dime.
Well, you have to have an idea. When you put that ball down, it can't just be to hear it, right? You have to have an idea of where you're going with it and where you're going and how that impacts your teammates and where they go in terms of spacing.
And that's an example there of when you don't have a true point.
Absolutely. Choices.
Underneath, it is Myers and easy two. Maryland shedding multiple defenders to get right in the paint.
Maryland increasing their lead right now because they have been able to turn Rutgers over, and that's what gave them that swell at the beginning of the game.
Aileen Schmeichel was feeling it there, called her own number, misses everything. Almost a basket catch, like a wide receiver by Myers, but instead goes out of bounds.
Well, Diamond Miller can do other things. She has those 4 steals, but she can also be a facilitator as well. Her teammates can get a bucket if she is closed down because of the defensive attention to detail by Rutgers on her to take her out of the game. What else can you do? Set your teammates up for success.
She's got 6 points on 3 for 10 shooting, 0 for 2 from 3. Terrapins led by Abby Myers is 20 points. Also in double figures is Cheyenne Sellers with 10 on the bench currently with 3 personals. Rutgers cleanly gets it over. And an offensive foul away from the ball. That's going to be on Cassandra Brown, who's trying to get the position.
Well, you can't displace a defender in legal guarding position. As a post player, you want to get that contact right, but you can't move that defender off of their spot. You can't uproot. Although it's fun when you try to do it. I try to do it.
Especially when you have that mismatch, your eyes light up. I want to bury this player in the paint.
Absolutely. But you have to do it legally. And it can't be like lower the shoulder and get into the body and move them off. And see, here we go. Boom. Yeah, you can't lower the boom and displace and ride all the way through the paint. That's a displacement call.
That's a shame, though.
That is. But see, you have the position. All you have to do is lock the seal. All you have to do, you have it like boom, that initial contact, you have it. So stay right there. You don't need to ride her all the way through the lane like that. Even though physically you're strong enough, yes, you're able to do it, but it's not legal. You have the position on the initial contact on the defender. Just lock and get your hand in the air to catch the ball.
Christy speaking from personal experience.
Hey, I have my hand up right here demonstrating, so I can't help myself. Those are good days. Fun times.
Diamond Miller at the free throw line. That foul going against Cassandra Brown. She gets both of them. And then the full court pressure once more. Her family with the It's Miller Time shirts.
It's Miller time. They're waiting on her to explode here at home, and there's another steal or deflection.
She's had a huge impact defensively playing here in her home state. Myers, a difficult shot, just rims out. And there is Miller going to work once more, getting her own miss. And with the patience, she gets the finish.
And she looked right up at Miller time, and they're like, yes, sir, that's the way to work. She's fired up.
Diamond Miller coming to life in this third quarter. She's up to 10, 8 of those points in this third quarter. So impressed, Christy, with how she waited. So many times maybe you panic thinking you have to go right up with the ball.
Yeah, she reminds me of Nneka Ogwumike in a lot of ways with her footwork. Nneka Ogwumike plays for the WNBA's LA Sparks. She's a lot like her.
Aileen Schmeichel, a badly needed 3 for the Scarlet Knights, who were within 5 in this third quarter. They're being outscored right now, 16-7 though, after the halftime break. Myers always looking to shoot. Inside they go to Briggs, and she kisses it off glass.
Nice patience by Lavender Briggs. Didn't have to do a lot with the basketball. Nice pivot and good footwork inside.
Schmeichel trying to get it inside, and a foul will be called on Brene Alexander, fighting in the post.
Here's Diamond Miller staying persistent on the offensive glass, coming up with some loose change in the couch. staying with it once again. He's surrounded by 3 defenders and stretches those long legs and arms and splits the defense and has fun with her family who loves it. It's Miller time, they're saying. Look at all of them having a joyous afternoon here in New Jersey.
Trip to the free throw line. Coming up for Awa Sidibe as she puts it on the floor and attacks the rim. And it's been quite a third quarter for Maryland to increase their lead back up to 18. Largest lead of today has been 19 for the Terrapins. Get all the news and highlights from around the conference on The Big Show tonight at 9 Eastern on Big Ten Network. As Kai Carter at the free throw line. And the second one rims out. Briggs grabs the board. Back behind everyone is Bree McDaniel, and one.
Pushing the pace with a pass. Maryland has found success doing that now with 11 fast break points, perfectly placed pass, and great execution on the move. You're going 100 miles an hour. You have to have the wherewithal to catch it, score it in traffic, and get hit with the contact. That's tough.
McDaniel completes the three-point play. And Maryland outscoring Rutgers in this quarter, 21-7. Explosive third as Streeter can't net the three. Carter will put it back up and in.
Maryland had gone to their 2-2-1 there. They've mixed up their presses. They've shown 1-2-2. That time it was a 2-2-1. The ball fake by Rutgers got that ball to the middle of the floor so they can attack in the quarter court.
Sonas inside, Myers falling away off 1 foot. Briggs is right there. She puts up the same shot, and Myers comes right back. Sonas was calling for a whistle, and it does come as she was battling underneath the rim.
Physical play in the paint all afternoon here for both teams, and that's what it's about. It's a battle of positioning, and it is physical. You just have to outwork your opponents.
Both teams in the bonus at this point. The final 2:19 of this third quarter. Sona's up to 7 points now. McDaniel up at the top of that press.
Footwork there. McDaniel moving right along. That's good defense and good containment by McDaniel.
Michael can't place it. And Sonas pushing it for the Terrapins. Briggs kicking it out. Under 2 minutes to go here in the third at Jersey Mike's Arena. Off target is Pinzan. Back to the Scarlet Knights. Sidibe, the spin. Finish not there, just bouncing out, but she covered a lot of ground. Upset herself for missing it.
Yeah, tapped the floor on the way back. The crowd was anticipating a very creative bucket by Sidibe, but she couldn't get it to drop.
Coach Washington has praised Sidibe. She's first in the Big Ten in minutes per game and goes from playing a more peripheral role last year to now the focal point of this team, forced into the point guard position. The work that she's put in to be able to play 36 minutes per game.
Well, Coach Washington said, as speaking from her experience, that point guards, that's the toughest position to play, especially in college basketball, right? And when you don't have that presence of composure in that position, it changes the scheme of things. When things need to be toned down, can you do that? And it's all about tempo control.
It's hard enough to do at this level, let alone if you haven't played the position in the past.
Absolutely.
Maryland forcing Rutgers away from the basket. Under 10 to go for Sidibe. Streeter along the baseline. A difficult look, and it swishes through.
Good patience. We were talking about composure for Rutgers. They displayed it there.
On the run, Briggs, a little out of control, going for her own board, but it is Miller who cleans it up. 2 points at the half, and now up to 12.
Well, she has stayed the course and not gotten frustrated with the adversity of not getting her normal shots to fall.
5 for 13 overall. Was 1 for 7 at the half, so much improved in this third quarter for Miller, not getting discouraged.
Right. You have to have amnesia. When you're not making shots, you got to be on to the next.
Cornwell battling. It will be a jump ball possession arrow to the Terrapins.
Good hustle by both players. The shot goes up, and then the box out, you see everyone going for it like baby birds there with both hands up trying to corral it. Ends up being a jump ball. Good aggression by both teams.
We should point out that this is also the home state for Faith Masonis.
Absolutely.
As well. Her family in attendance too. Both her and Diamond Miller able to play in front of their family. Her mother Ellen in attendance, cheering on Faith, who's really battled back from injury to be such a key member of this Terrapin team. No good at the buzzer. So we head to the fourth. Maryland leading 67-44. It was all Terrapins in the third, outscoring Rutgers 27-11 in the quarter. Our State of Success is brought to you by State Farm. It's our up and down, back and forth quarters, but Maryland responding well, outscoring the Scarlet Knights 27-11 in that most recent quarter. We've got a special guest in the house tonight at Jersey Mike's Arena. It is WNBA champion, Finals MVP, WNBA All-Star, Kalia Copper.
The 7th pick in the
2011 in that most recent quarter. We've got a special guest in the house tonight at Jersey Mike's Arena. It is WNBA champion, Finals MVP, WNBA All-Star, Kalia Copper.
The 7th pick in the 2016 WNBA draft to the Washington Mystics. Played there for a year in D.C. and then was traded to Chicago in that Elena Deladon exchange. Sat the bench, was a role player for 3 years, and ended up being the MVP of the WNBA Finals when Chicago won the championship. Just an amazing story. She has been on this journey for a long time, and in the first 3 years she played here at Rutgers Sloan, she didn't attempt a three. Senior season, shot almost 38% from range, and then now look at her flourishing in the WNBA. You'd love to see her coming back, supporting her program here at Rutgers.
And she is a star.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. I got to go down and grab her after the game. I got to go down and grab her. You know, C. Vivian Stringer always said, take care of my babies, and that's one of her babies right there.
Diamond Miller goes behind the back, swoops through, a ridiculous finish plus the foul. Come on, Diamond Miller.
Well, there she is, Diamond Miller. It's Miller time, all right. Oh, behind the back, 3 defenders on her. The smooch off the glass gets her family up on their feet. Once again, Diamond Miller doing Diamond Miller things for Maryland here on the road.
She completes a 3-point play. 13 points she has scored in the second half.
And she has come alive.
Up to 15 now. Perfect at the free throw line as well. We've seen those Diamond Miller plays in the second half.
I credit her mentality on that. I mean, that's what leaders do. She's not going to sulk because her shot's not falling. I mean, she has 4 steals. She's got a couple of assists. She's doing other things to help impact the game.
Cassandra Brown counters with her own 3-point play.
You see Diamond Miller kind of got into the fetal position there because she couldn't move. If she stood up, she was going to get trampled on. She got tangled up, and then she just decided, you know what, if I get up, it's going to be worse. Let me just protect myself. Business decision right there by Diamond Miller.
It wasn't until the replay, Christy, That literally was the fetal position.
Yeah, she balled that. Hey, I would have done it too. Hey, hey, it's crowded down there.
Maryland ball again. It had been a 5-point game in the third quarter, the closest that the Scarlet Knights had gotten since it was 6-0, but an explosion offensively by the Terrapins has increased this to a very healthy lead once more. In the corner, Briggs drains the three right in front of her own bench.
Well, the double team came when that ball went inside to Faith Massonis. Great recognition to kick it out. Doing a good job communicating defensively here against Rutgers.
Michael misses everything there. Brown going to work, but she is stripped. More defense on the interior by Diamond Miller and the Terrapins. Up ahead to McDaniel, the no-look pass. Pinzan decides against it, behind the back. And Maryland will settle things down.
It was percolating right there.
3-second violation, and Miller upset about that. So is Brenda Freeze.
The ball was popping around for Maryland there. But you have to, the ball is moving, the off-ball movement has to be going as well. Someone had their toe on that line or in that paint.
Cornwell puts it on the floor, attacks, got behind the rim, but bailed out by a whistle.
Faith Massonis was whistled for that one. It just looked like she wasn't squared up with the offensive player, but she was under the backboard there.
For Massonis, that is her third. Sellers also with 3 for the Terrapins. Coming up, the Big Ten Live Rose Bowl pregame gets you ready for the granddaddy of them all. Next only on Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Good luck to Penn State, one of the crown jewels of bowl games in the college football season.
It's going to be a great one. Get your popcorn popping if you haven't popped some already. Pop some more, and they've been popping it during this game.
Fantastic time of year when you have that basketball and football crossover too.
Love it.
Sonis quickly looking for Pinzan, and she will knock down the long range two. Had a foot over the line. And Maryland continues to roll in the second half.
Well, defense has been the difference maker for Maryland to get back to what got them that lead. They were only up 7 at halftime and just expanded it with getting the stops necessary, but also the buckets and the pace of play.
McDaniel sidestepping defenders. Massonis hesitates and can't knock down the 6-footer. Michael loses it out of bounds, but off of Maryland. Rutgers going with a big lineup here, having Brown and Cornwell in at the same time, which worked on the other end with the high-low.
Yeah, it did. It did. Let's see if they can get touches down in there.
Sellers checks back in for Briggs with her 3 personals.
And Mila Reynolds, the freshman for Maryland, wearing 15 there. And she scored over 2,000 points in her high school career, so she can get a bucket herself, the youngster.
Brown goes underneath, a difficult finish. She's been effective in this game, 12 points, second leading scorer for Rutgers, led by Smikles 21.
Now the birthday bucket getter is doing work inside, and I want to see her get more touches. Just to kind of iron out the chemistry and the timing for Rutgers on the offensive side.
Diamond Miller travels there. No arguing that one. But again, she was able to attack right at the basket. Pinzan back as Maryland pulling back that pressure a little bit.
They dropped it back Playing a little matchup here where they bumped off and got another steal.
Pinzan takes it away, leaves it for Miller. A little drop pass. She can't knock down the two. Sellers sticking with it. And it will be Rutgers ball.
Sellers is not going to go quietly into the good night. She's going to go ahead and try her best to get a possession.
She has so much competitive fire, very demonstrative when she's on the floor as well.
It's fun to play that way. I mean, it's a game. How can you play it with a mindset of solitude? I mean, it's too exciting. Got to be free and play. It's a field.
Carter puts it on the floor and gets the finish right at the rim. Rutgers has had success the times they have been able to penetrate in the paint. Reynolds finds McDaniel. She's in a tough spot and is fouled off the pump fake.
Well, Brown would have been better served just to let that one go. And it is very tempting when you have a height advantage and someone's right in front of you. You just want to pluck the ball out of bounds, but you don't have position, and that's why the foul was called. McDaniel trying to gather herself. Look at Brown. She's like, let me just get it. Can't do it.
That's tough when McDaniel already didn't have a great angle to the basket anyway.
Yeah. I'm going to bail him out. You have good positioning in there, but it is, again, it's so tempting when it's right in front of you.
Another situation, talking from personal experience?
Sure. No, absolutely.
Streeter gets it off the missed free throw, and Sellers takes advantage of the miscommunication. She'll just pull up from the elbow. She's been great from the mid-range today.
That was just a vicious pull-up right there by Cheyenne Sellers, and vicious not necessarily in terms of mechanics, but decision. That was a great decision by the sophomore Cheyenne Sellers to pull up on a dime at the elbow.
It's plays like that that just show how advanced she is in the realm of the Big Ten, what she's able to do. Built that confidence as a freshman and building on it more here as a sophomore.
Yeah, she's a worker.
Cornwell, she's working the boards. Michael will try, she just throws it up, and Reynolds keeps her eyes up. Sellers is denied by Streeter. She waited for Streeter to catch up, couldn't beat her one-on-one. Michael launching the three and drains it. She's got 24. She's been over 20 this season 6 times now.
She has been steady. No question about it, especially from range. And just a freshman. We're talking about these young players, freshmen and sophomores for both of these teams coming up huge.
It's Michael having now it all. We still have so much ahead, Chrissy, in terms of the Big Ten, but having a great season so far.
Well, Cheyenne Sellers is here to play the game the right way, shooting the gap, getting downhill, stopping all 10 toes down, getting a bucket in transition.
If you give me $100 for every time coach says play defense, I'll be rich. Like, I probably have like 10 mil in my bank account right now.
And she took that to heart on display in this game against Rutgers.
Hey, that bank account is looking good, especially, the NIL is in full effect too, so hey, Diamond Miller, she wasn't knocked in her shots, but she was getting the defensive stops. She was doing other things to impact the game, but then her shot started falling. 3 people around her, doesn't matter. She's staying aggressive, playing with a certain amount of purpose and intentionality. Ooh, this is what I like, how she stretches out and she's showing all the passion that she has, all the hard work that she's put in. Her family's like, yeah, this is how she does it. It's Miller time out here in New Jersey. Call me up, call me. That's what Diamond Miller is all about today.
Diamond Miller had 2 points on 1 for 7 shooting at halftime. Now up to 15. But you're so right, Christy, impacting in multiple ways.
Well, it's a great example to younger players. boys and girls, if you're watching, this is not all about how many buckets you get. That may be all the highlights that you see, but there's more to the game of basketball, more than just getting a shot in the basket that can impact the game in a positive way. Get you a stop, get a steal, get some boards, set up your teammates, set a good screen, get a screen assist. A lot of things you can do to help your team win.
First quarter, when she had 3 steals, was just flying all over the floor. Along the baseline, Briggs picks it up. And rejected emphatically by Cornwell.
This is why Cornwell has such a tremendous upside, great rotation, and just getting that shot by Gigi Cook sent out of bounds with some force.
Just a rude rejection to the freshman.
Yeah.
Sellers gets it away. And Briggs avoids the shot clock violation, and back to the Scarlet Knights, who were within 5 in this second half, but it has been all Maryland, with the exception of the second quarter when they were outscored by the Scarlet Knights. Good effort by Schmeichel, chasing that down.
Yeah, Schmeichel still continuing to give great effort, and that's how you get better. I mean, in an 18-point game, there's no negative body language. I mean, Rutgers, they have 8 players on their roster, and they're all going hard for Coquise Washington in her first season at Rutgers.
It has all been a process for Rutgers, Christy, and Coach Washington said they're having patience. She compared it to dating, where normally when you bring in players, you build those relationships during the recruiting process, but now it's an everyday and day-to-day kind of building process for this program.
Absolutely, and it's the whole team. It's not just 2 or 3 players. She said in the recruiting process that you're focused in on. You're focused on all 8 of these players, as is her entire staff as well.
Well, Rutgers on January 7th, taking on Nebraska, which you can watch here on Big Ten Network. They'll be celebrating and honoring the Hall of Famer Teresa Grentz, who won an AIAW championship with the Scarlet Knights. They'll be at Minnesota, then a rematch with this same Rutgers team, and then Michigan back-to-back. We talked about that sneaky Spartan squad as well. This is not easy the rest of the way here in early January. And for Maryland, coming up for them, Michigan State that knocked off Indiana, a top 5 team. Then they take on the Hoosiers, followed by, again, this rematch with this Rutgers team at Xfinity Center.
Here we go. Are we buckled in for this or what? I mean, so many great games on the horizon in conference play in the Big Ten.
Faith Massonis just caught her on the bench, yelling out to her team, staying engaged, directing players who don't get the same kind of minutes on the floor. Here's Briggs looking for Sellers, who lines it up. And rebound grabbed by Schmeichel. Carter pulls up, and Schmeichel beating out Sellers. Good effort to chase that down. Cornwell surrounded, and a jump ball will send this the other way. Well, Maryland in this series looking to make it 6 straight against the Scarlet Knights. They came in winning 12 of the last 13. Last victory for Rutgers back in 2018. So one-sided of late for this Terrapins team, coming off back-to-back Sweet 16s. New win for the Terps, Eva Ciola.
She was the Pennsylvania Player of the Year. Again, another young player, all-state player, getting some burn.
Reynolds loses it. 2 seconds left for the Terrapins, and Reynolds misses underneath. No shot clock violation there. Sidibe a little out of control, but gets her own putback.
Give Rutgers credit for just hanging in there and continuing to compete. I mean, their turnovers really caused them a sense of havoc in Maryland just paid it off on the other side, scoring 23 points off of their 22 turnovers in this game.
Michael on the run, gets it for 2. She's got a career high 28 points now on 11 of 21 from the floor to go along with 8 rebounds too.
Well, she is just so smooth. Came into this game leading Rutgers and scoring just under 16 a game, but she has been phenomenal today in terms of her consistency.
The Terrapins looking to put a bow on this one and improve to 6-0 on the road this season, which says a lot considering how strong their schedule is. Michael is fouled and she'll be shooting 2.
And Brenda Fries is tapping the temple, and having coached, the tap of the temple is a way to kind of woo-saw yourself back down, knowing that you're going to win, but that was not the proper play with 1.6 seconds remaining in this game.
On the hierarchy, where does the tapping the temple rank? What's number 1? Stomping the foot?
The foot, yeah.
Okay.
It's first. And then right between the eyes tapping is, that'll bring the shoulders down out of the ears. Pure coach.
Smeichel goes 1 of 2, gets a career high 29 points, but Maryland overwhelms Rutgers to take home the victory 78-67. They improve to 12-3 this season, 3-1 in conference play, while Rutgers drops to 6-10 on the season. Still looking for that first conference win this season. They are 0-4. When they take on Nebraska on Saturday, that'll be on Big Ten Network, a day they are honoring the women's basketball legend and Hall of Famer Teresa